business grow. Find out more on the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome into the WTIM Morning Show. My name is Tim Zalabak. Thank you so much to everyone tuning in to the WTIM Morning Show today. Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. And thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. I got Jack Myers on the line with me today. He is a public affairs specialist for the Social Security Administration. Mr. Myers, thank you so much for being here with us today.
My pleasure, Tim. Thanks for having me on.
Without a doubt, always an educational opportunity when we get to have on Mr. Jack Myers. We're going to get right into it today. He always provides me with some great notes, and we were going to get into it all today. So today, we're talking about some elder abuse and reporting and how to recognize it. These are important topics. Mr. Jack Myers, you can take it from here.
Yeah, Tim, it is important that we talk a little bit about this because, elder abuse obviously is something that we need to take very seriously. And hopefully I'll be able to provide a couple pointers on, how to identify it and how to report it. Technically, it is the intentional mistreatment or harming of an older person, and the Social Security Act defines an older person as someone over the age of 60. Now, abuse can take many different forms. So it can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be sexual harm, neglect, financial exploitation. And statistics show that more than 10% of older adults experience some form of abuse each year. But unfortunately, Tim, that's probably even kind of low because a lot of times elder abuse goes unreported. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Sometimes people don't know what's happening. Those who are being abused don't necessarily, either they're embarrassed or they don't really quite get what's going on. So there are a lot of reasons why that doesn't get reported. And so one of the things that I wanted to touch on here today were some ways that you could spot signs of abuse. There are little things, and a lot of these things can have other causes too, of course. Okay, so I'm not saying that when you see something like this, it always means elder abuse, because that's simply not true. But these are just some things to kind of look out for. So if you see signs of abuse, such as kind of a sudden change in their demeanor or their well-being, their mental well-being, if the person, kind of seems like they're slipping into a depression and they haven't really had that before, if they have some unusual fear or anxiety, or intentional isolation, those are potential signs. Again, like I said, that's not always what those things mean, but they're things to kind of look out for. They could be signs of some sort of abuse going on. And, it's important that you look in on your loved ones, on your friends, on your neighbors, those sorts of things, just to kind of see if they're doing okay. And in addition to those things I just mentioned, there are also some physical signs of abuse that you can look for: bruises, injuries, neglect that would sort of manifest itself in a change in their personal hygiene, or if they're lacking things that they used to have, like eyeglasses or hearing aids, and things that you would typically think that a caretaker would be providing for them. If they used to have them and they don't, and they seem to be suffering because of that, those are all potential signs. Some signs of financial exploitation could be unpaid rent, sudden changes to a will. Now you're not going to know about that most likely as a neighbor, but as a family member, you might catch wind of that. Unexplained financial transactions, just generally unpaid bills, unpaid utilities when they have the money to pay that sort of stuff. Those are things to look for and signs that there might be some kind of abuse going on there.
What makes this so troubling and difficult to obviously find and report sometimes, I feel like, is that the caretakers often are the people that are going to know this information about them, whether their demeanor has changed, what type of changes have been made to their will, right? These are all aspects that might be coming from the abuser, that the abuser would know of. So, I mean, it just feels as though people in the elder community, they do lack the connections to outside that would know the personality of that person. And do you find that, or who would be doing the reporting? Is it friends? Because oftentimes it is the abuser that is a close family member.
Yeah, you're spot on there. Oftentimes the abuser is a close family member, and so and a lot of times there's a family dynamic there where the family has, put their trust in that particular person to manage those sorts of affairs. Sometimes family members will split up medical care versus financial care. I think one of the things is, maybe having conversations as a group if you're in a situation like that where multiple family members are interested in taking care of different things, and just sort of being aware of the overall picture of what's going on, because um, you're right, there aren't necessarily a lot of other people who would know, but reports can come from anybody. And the way to make a report if you suspect that somebody is a victim of elder abuse, in Illinois, you can call the Illinois Adult Protective Services hotline at 866-800-1409. So 866-800-1409. You can call that number and you can make an allegation of abuse or report of abuse, and then they can look into that so that you don't necessarily have to confront the abuser yourself. You can do that if that's going to be the right situation, but sometimes that's not going to be the right way to approach it, and you know better than somebody else would when you're in the middle of it. But that hotline is a great resource to call and report those sorts of things. And they handle reports of elder abuse, but they also handle reports of abuse against people with disabilities who are adults. So people with disabilities between the ages of 18 and 59, and then elders age 60 and older. You could make reports to that, Illinois Adult Protective Services. And one more time, Tim, I'll give that number.
Yeah.
866-800-1409 in the state of Illinois.
And it's also great to note against it that can be for people with disabilities as well, not just for elder abuse there. So it's the same number for the people with disabilities as well.
Yes, it sure
Great.
is.
All right, awesome. So we got through a little bit of elder abuse there. It can come in many forms, obviously the physical, emotional, but also there's that financial exploitation that can happen. That's a scary thing to happen, very personal information involved there, which kind of moves us on to our next little point here, Mr. Myers. If that's cool, we can move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. So we're talking finance, funding, financial things for the elder community. When to collect retirement benefits and the significance of turning age 70. We just talked 60 kind of qualifies you for elder status there. So tell us a little bit about collecting retirement benefits.
Yeah. So, Tim, the choice of when to start receiving a Social Security retirement benefit is probably the more difficult or the most difficult one you'll face when it comes to Social Security. You can start to collect at age 62 and should do so sometime between age 62 and age 70, depending on your circumstances. You can get estimates. So this is where you can get some help and get some numbers that you can start to plan with. You can go to our website at ssa.gov and create what's called a My Social Security account. There you will see these estimates at various ages as you can kind of plug through, and it's interactive, and you can see what different stop work dates would do to your estimates, different times or ages at which you sign up. You see what that would do to your monthly benefit. So it's really a great planning tool and a way for you to kind of start to try to decide when you're going to begin collecting the benefit. But it's important that you know something that we call full retirement age. So that's going to be the point where you can get your full unreduced benefit. That's going to be somewhere between age 65 and 67, depending on when you were born. But, for people who are not yet at full retirement age, it's going to be somewhere between 66 and 67. Because if you were born 55 through 59, it lands somewhere between 66 and 67 for the full retirement age. And then if you were born 1960 or later, that full retirement age is 67. So, that's kind of a big, important thing to know. It has kind of multiple layers of significance to it. Number one, your Social Security benefit paid prior to that full retirement age would be permanently reduced for age. So in other words, you would be considered to be taking them early, and you would get a reduced benefit if you chose to do that prior to your full retirement age. But then again, there's also an earnings limitation. So if you want to start to draw your Social Security benefit before you get to that full retirement age, you are only able to work and earn so much before we would have to start withholding money from your Social Security payment. So the limit this year is $21,240 if you're under your full retirement age. But the good news is if you're full retirement age or older, there is no limit. So you could work and earn as much as you want and still collect your Social Security benefits. So you can see there, Tim, there are a lot of things to think about there, a lot of impacts to your decision of when to start drawing. And, the other thing about age 70 is if you choose not to take your benefits at full retirement age, they will increase through what we call delayed retirement credits all the way up until age 70. So you really could essentially add money to your record because that'll grow by a rate of about 8% per year, depending on when you were born, from your full retirement age up to age 70.
Okay. Wow. Great. You don't want to have to work when you're not being paid the full amount just because you're full retirement age. So these are all very, very important things to note. Before we go on break, Mr. Jack Myers, where can people go for some information on all of this?
The best place is our website. If you go to ssa.gov, you can learn a lot about this general. You can apply for benefits. You can get general information. But if you create a My Social Security account, then you can even get those personalized estimates I was talking about.
Perfect. We're sitting down with Jack Myers right now. He's Public Affairs Specialist for the Social Security Administration. My name's Tim Zalabak, and you are listening to the WTIM Morning Show. We'll be right back.
Your information station, WTIM.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn slightly lower, beans lower, wheat trading higher. December corn 4.80 3/4, down half a penny. March corn down 1/4, 4.95 1/2. May corn 5.03 3/4, down half a penny. November beans 12.92 1/4, down 5 1/2. January beans down 4 3/4, 13.10 3/4. March beans 13.22 1/4, down 4 3/4. December wheat 5.93 1/4, up 4 1/4. March wheat up 4 1/2, 6.20. October bean meal 388.90, down 3.10. October bean oil 58.02, down 73 cents. Livestock market, September feeders 252.90, down 97 cents. October live cattle 185.25, down $1.72. October lean hogs 82.17, up 65 cents. Energy market, November crude oil 89.35, down 33 cents. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
If you're looking for the latest in local hunting and fishing information, then join us for Central Illinois Outdoors with me, Jared White, Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and Sundays at 7 a.m. here on WTIM. Every weekend, we'll offer detailed Central Illinois fishing reports from professional guides. We'll swap stories with local celebrity sportsmen, and I'll invite you to share your favorite stories as well. Central Illinois Outdoors with Jared White every weekend on all WTIM platforms and on demand at centralillinoisoutdoors.com. Brought to you by Bob Ridings and Paint, the Clinton, Illinois Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau, and Locked and Loaded in Pana.
I'm Will Perkins, President and CEO of the Taylorville Community Credit Union. TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight, allowing a different nonprofit organization to be highlighted on WTIM, WMKR, and WRAN each month.
Taylorville Terrace is an intermediate care home that accommodates up to 16 individuals ranging from 18 years old and up with developmental disabilities. Our team understands that everyone has a unique story, and this is what shapes our priorities. We focus on the positive attributes that each person has and turn limitations and challenges into strengths. We provide opportunities and resources that focus on supporting an environment that fosters community presence, choice, and respect. Visit www.phidd.org for more information.
This is Cammie Payne, General Manager of the Miller Media Group. We, along with TCCU, are proud to bring you the Community Spotlight each month.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Craig's Realtors continues to be the market leader in 2023. I'm Steve Craigs. It's a seller's market. If you're considering selling, click on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Find out about all the products and services offered by Dan Rizzo, your American Family Insurance agent in Taylorville, by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. My name is Tim Zalabak. Happy to be here with you all on this great Tuesday. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. I've been sitting down with Jack Myers. He's been the Public Affairs Specialist for the Social Security Administration. Always a pleasure to have Jack Myers on the line with us, get us all a little bit more informed. That first half, we talked a little bit about how to recognize and report elder abuse, and then we moved on to retirement benefits in the age of 70. You've got to reach that full retirement age. And now we're going to keep moving on as we're speaking of elders here today. Mr. Jack Myers, I still got you on the line there. I just want to make sure.
Yep. Still here,
Perfect.
Tim.
Perfect. Thank you so much once again for being here. And let's keep moving here because people need to know what to do with their money. Even when they get up there in age, it can be a confusing time. So talk to me a little bit about a representative payee.
Yeah, Tim. So we have a program here at Social Security called the Representative Payee Program. And I think most of us know someone who gets a monthly Social Security benefit or a monthly SSI, which is Supplemental Security Income Payment. And at some point in time, a lot of people get to the point where they need help managing their money. If they are no longer able to, take that money and make sure that it is used to meet their needs, then we can appoint what we call a representative payee, which would be an individual person or an organization in some cases to serve as the person that manages those funds for the individual. As the payee, they would be responsible for receiving and managing the person's benefits in a way to ensure that their needs are being met with the benefit before other purchases could be made. So it's not something that we take lightly. It's not something that an applicant should take lightly if they're applying to be payee. When we assign a payee, we're going to be looking for someone who knows the beneficiary's needs and is in a position to use the benefits for the person's care and well-being. And of course, there's going to be some accountability there. Payees are accountable for how they use the beneficiary's funds and reporting issues to us that may affect a beneficiary's eligibility. And, in some cases, Tim, depending on the relationship to the beneficiary, the payee may be required to complete an accounting form each year for us that shows that they used the funds for that individual's needs. But, one thing to point out is that if you serve as payee for an individual, it's still their money. So the reason I say that is twofold. Number one, it has to be used on them. That's the whole point. And number two, it has zero impact on your tax liability. Sometimes people have that as a little bit of a concern. They don't want to, kind of muddy or complicate their tax picture. But this will have zero impact on that because it is not your money. It's just being paid to you for them, and then you're responsible to use it for their best interest.
Okay. Wow. That's very important to know there. And of course, the representative payee sounds like a very personal position there with a lot of responsibilities. We were talking about over the break. Usually that is the son or daughter of an elderly person, someone that really knows their true situation.
Yeah, most often that's what we're looking at is a close family member, somebody who's going to be aware of their circumstance and their needs and in a position to help them meet those needs. It can be an organization. Sometimes it'll be a nursing home, for example. So that's not uncommon, but a lot of times it is a close personal family member. One thing that you can do that's only been around for a couple years now, but we have this thing called advanced designation. So when you apply for benefits from Social Security now, or even if you're just getting benefits and you want to go online, you can give us the names of up to 3 people, names and phone numbers, along with relationship of up to 3 people that you think down the road, should you ever need it, would be good options to be your payee. And that's helpful in the event that you were ever incapacitated and nobody stepped forward on your behalf to apply to be payee. Right. Then we would know, we would have somewhere to turn. We would have some leads on who you thought might be good people to contact. It certainly doesn't say that you're going to have a payee or, take any steps to make a payee decision. It's just giving us leads down the road should we ever need to look into that for you.
Sure. Mr. Jack Myers, we are out of time, but thank you so much for coming on the air with us today and getting us all a little bit more informed.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Tim.
Absolutely. Looking forward to next time. That was Jack Myers, Public Affairs Specialist for the Social Security Administration. My name's Tim Zalabak, and you've been listening to the WTIM Morning Show. Thanks for listening.
Your information station, WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.
I'm Rich Thomas. The striking auto workers will be getting visits from the Presidential Front